Alright. You read the title of the video. I'm not going to waste your time. Now, I feel like a lot of people struggle with the whole, breaking up with partners and whatnot, and, ending relationships. And one of those reasons is, how, what the aftermath of a breakup is going to be like in terms of, you see a lot of times people are feeling terrible for long periods of time. And it's, those iconic movie scenes where the protagonist separates from his partner or whatever, and they go into like a depressed drinking phase for months on end. You've seen that all before. Now, I've been in my fair share of relationships, and I've definitely been there. One of my first relationships, I won't say depressed, but I was like, I was cooked. I was not in a good headspace for months afterwards. Now, I think I could attribute to this, I don't know what the word is, compliment this to self-improvement in terms of being able to actually just sit down and understand, have a proper, analysis is the right word, of actually what happened and, why did you break up, and, what happened, what was the lead up and all that kind of stuff, rather than just sitting and go, oh, well, the love of my life is gone now, and I'm going to be depressed forever because I'll never find another one. Now, there will be a bit of that, because especially if you've been in a relationship for a fairly long time, you get attached to them, that's how it works. That's how dating relationships work. I'm just trying to find this lighting, it's a bit better. So it's how relationships work. So now, why I could have titled this video within a day, but there is obviously some time you've got to go through to kind of just let yourself heal, I'll say, but it doesn't need to be a drawn out process. Now, I've had relationships where, the breakup has been a couple of weeks, whatever, because it was a bit more long drawn out, but, those shorter relationships, you should really only be, you should be ready to move on in days. Now, I'm going to explain to you how I did that and how you can go about that too. And it all stems back to how you actually, what your mindset is when processing a breakup. Because like I said, it's, a lot of people just, dwell on the emotional side of things and don't actually unpack it. And it's until you unpack and, learn to understand what went wrong, what you can do better next time, that you can actually move on and come to terms with it. And there's really not much reason why you should dwell on it and let it draw it out, because you're just making the whole process a lot worse. Now, I normally in my past relationships, I'll give myself a couple of days to kind of just, let the dust settle. It's probably the right term, just kind of just chill and, process and whatnot. And then I kind of go down and actually think quite hard about, what led up to the breakup and what was said, what should have been said, whether it was handled properly, and, what could be done for next time. Because I find if you actually start working through things sooner, you're able to move on a lot quicker, because you've you understand, and the emotional, there'll be some little bits of emotional connection to certain things, sentimentally, that makes sense, but as a whole, you're able to pick yourself up and continue on with life just super quickly. And this is super important, especially for, young people on self-improvement. The world doesn't stop. And that's one of the biggest things that I keep in the back of my mind when I go through even just tough times outside of relationships and breakups. But the world keeps moving. So if you're going to go, lay down and die and be depressed for months on end, you're only doing yourself a disservice. You're not actually allowing yourself to use that experience to benefit you. You're only just letting it bring you down. And that's why I like to kind of get that understanding and processing of mistakes that have been made and the learning process out of it, get that happening as soon as possible. Because it is, it's how we can move on and allow that to be a beneficiary, rather than a weight, a thorn in our side. And the simplest way I can say to do this is to literally, I've actually had times where I've written down things where I fucked up, where I believe the other person fucked up, where we as a collective fucked up, and what could have been done had it have been done again. Because that's the best way to reflect and, come out of it with something useful from a normally pretty emotionally taxing time. If that makes sense. So literally just go, I don't know, maybe she cheated on you. Okay, this is going to use an example. You found out she was cheating on you with whoever, some random fucker. So, you might go, well, what did I do that could have made her want to cheat? Because if you were the ideal boyfriend, she's not going to want to cheat on you. So there's something you did that was wrong, right? So try and figure that shit out. Write down. This is why journaling's really popular, and all the big self-improvement spaces say journaling's really good. It gets your thoughts out on paper. So, why do you think, what were you lacking, or, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Right, and you kind of understand, well, if I've done this differently, then, whatever. Now you go kind of flip the perspective. Now, what was she doing wrong that led up to that? Now, it doesn't normally go straight to cheating. It was probably, other little things. Again, blah, 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 whatever. Doesn't have to be right, doesn't have to be whatever. Just, thoughts on the paper. That's what we're trying here. And now, as a collective, like as a couple, what could you have done to, prevent that? Whether it was better communication, whether it was, better, going on more dates or more affectionate, whatever. And, write that shit down. Make sure it's all clear and you can understand what you're saying. So it's clear in your head and you can understand maybe not if she's cheated on you, because that's not the type of woman you want to really talk to or deserves your attention. But maybe it's worth actually, after doing this, going back and having a proper, civil conversation, all trying to just understand what went wrong. Now that's an extremely mature thing to do, and it's a lot of people will not want to or not be able to effectively without it just becoming a yelling match. Now, you've got to just sit down and whether you do decide to with your ex or whatever, but just get it all down. You don't have to write it down, but just sit there, think about it, and just run through all of this. What could have you done? What was done wrong? And make sure you've gone through it, covered all bases. And then, if you've still got some things, maybe it's worth talking to with one of the boys. Maybe they've got a different perspective. Especially if you can come with all this, I'll say, arsenal of like things you've thought about and things you may not have understand, because normally someone else can give you a good perspective on things and another opinion or whatnot. Now, once you've done that, you can start to use these lessons and start to pick out little things that you can take as lessons. Whether it was in my future relationships, I'm going to make sure I communicate my feelings better, or make sure I make my partner feel like they're important, or whatever it is, that kind of shit. But really just try and break down what went wrong and take as many lessons from it as possible. And you'll be amazed at how much better you feel about the whole situation, because you've got actually something tangible that you can take away and add it to your own character and your future ability to be in relationships. So yeah, it's a really powerful tool to be able to get over breakups in days. Now, some people may think that you are heartless or whatever, but I disagree. I feel like it is an emotionally mature person can pick themselves up and move on quickly, because I'm going to talk from a male perspective. A strong man has things that can't wait for him, and no one wants to see a man who's depressed, letting his life go away, waste away. That's about all I have for you. If you want help, if you are having trouble with getting over a relationship, jump on a call with me. It's $5 for an hour. Top link in the description. Get on it. You won't be disappointed. And if you are still here at the end of the video, 13 minutes in, I love you. And remember, life is what you make it.